Hey everybody, All Sports 83, sporting another video at you. And today's video is about my third race in the Camber Cup Series, actually the second points-paying race at Auto Club in California. And I'm just going to let you guys know that for some reason my system did not record stage 1, so we're not going to be able to show you that today. We are going to kick off things starting off stage number 2 here at Auto Club for the Camber Cup Series. So here we are. I can tell you that first stage was full of a lot of cautions. I was caught in a lot of them, even caused one, so that was on me, and ended up finishing in the stage dead last. So I did not receive any stage points for the season, but here we are starting off in stage number 2. As you can see from the outset, one of the things that's going to be a common thread throughout this race is that the field is pretty evenly matched. I mean, we pretty much stay close together the whole time, so it made for a lot of fun racing, but at the same time there were moments where it would be kind of frustrating too, and you'll see that because you can't really run the cleanest lap, the fastest lap, when you're constantly checking up and trying not to get into other guys. And it made for a lot of fun racing, but at times it would be pretty frustrating as well, but that's just the nature of it. Skipping ahead a little bit here, a few laps. This is after a caution. We're getting back up to speed here, and you'll see one of the things that I just mentioned about having to check up so you're not run over another car. This was most common on restarts, as you see here. I had to check up here for Spectre, and it really forces you to lose a little bit of time coming off, and you're trying to get your car up to speed, and also your car doesn't handle the same way as it gets up to speed. For me, my car felt to be a lot looser when I was getting up to speed. Once I was at speed, it felt normal, but I struggled really to keep the car under me at speed, especially when I was checking up. It seemed like the car wanted to kick around on me, but this was one of the challenges throughout the day. Then you get some guys get together. Just it's hard to find that clean lap when you've got cars around you all the time. So a lot of incidents like you just saw would take place throughout this race, and it kept the field bunched up, and it forced us to go through a lot of restarts. So we definitely got plenty of practice getting the cars up to speed and trying not to run over each other. Sometimes we were successful, sometimes we weren't, but it's just again, it's the nature of it when you are racing with a bunch of guys who, you know, the ability is pretty equal across the board. You're always going to have guys around you, and it makes it a lot of fun, but it's also a challenge too. So I did get the lead during the first stage briefly before a caution came out, and then my pit stop was so slow that it kind of put me back in traffic, and then a lot of the cautions took place. But outside of that moment, this is really the first time that I've run up front in this race, and I remember thinking that it's kind of building my confidence a little bit that I'm able to run with these guys. Of course, then a caution comes out, and so now we're bunched back up again for yet another restart, and like all the others, there's just a lot of crowded spaces as you go through these restarts. As you can see here, I missed my entry going into turn 3 and got me a little loose, and it allowed those guys to catch me and really did a good job not running over me, but they certainly went around me really quickly. I'm trying to get up with speed, and then for some reason the 12 car I guess got involved in a wreck or something behind me, and that brought out the caution. But so move ahead a little bit in the race here. We get a little 5 car breakaway here, which is pretty rare to get just 5 cars out alone. Again, the field was pretty evenly matched, and so here's, you know, an opportunity. I'm thinking, you know, don't have a lot of guys behind me. I'm going to try to see if I can execute some really clean and fast laps, try to get myself into a good position as we come to the close of stage number 2 here. And honestly, at this point, I'm thinking if I can, click off enough clean laps, I can maybe even win this thing. And then the 12 car, and I think that was the 3 car, got a little contact, brought in another caution. I would stay out, and it would give me the lead here. So I'm thinking maybe some clean air, maybe not having as much contact on these restarts would put me in a better position to try to win the stage. I really want to make up for not winning stage points in stage 1. So I feel like the best way to do that is just to do everything I can to win this stage and try to compensate for the lack of stage points in stage 1. So the only problem with that is I have wear on my tires when guys behind me do not. So I knew this would be a challenge, and so we have another caution that comes out, and again, it's about trying to make the most out of more worn tires. It's not typically the way to success, but I also felt that I wasn't really getting the kind of momentum I was being stuck behind other guys. Here you see Buffy Fan 95 gets underneath me with those clean tires, and so really all I have is to race as hard as I can, and so I try to utilize that outside line and try to just race him, and so it's a pretty fun battle between the two of us here for a few moments. One thing I will say for Auto Club is that this is one of the few tracks on the game where you can run the high groove. You can see here, even with worn tires, I'm holding the top really well, and was even catching the one car through the corner a little bit there. Typically that's not the case on this game. The bottom groove is where it matters, but you can run the top groove here pretty well. At this point, we're coming to the last lap. Those worn tires just was not going to be able to hold off the field, and so I'm racing, really get a 5th place finish here, but that's some stage points. It's better than what took place in stage 1. So to kick off stage 3, for some reason I miss a shift. Those guys go right around me. They did a good job not to run me over. So now I'm kind of behind everyone at a disadvantage, but luckily for me, caution comes out, lets me catch back up to the field, and then we get going again. Again, you're trying to think about what you want to do at this point of the race. It's about strategy. What's it going to take? What are you going to have to do? But first things first, you got to get this restart. Try to put yourself in a really good position. For some reason, I overdrive this corner. I get the car loose, almost in the wall, and then I come down into the 3 car and it wrecks him. Again, I got to own that one. That was on me for sure. It puts us at a disadvantage. Of course, it brings out a caution, and then we're back to another restart. Again, fighting for the same real estate there. The 12 car came down. I think I was coming up just a little bit, and we just ran out of room. Luckily, I was able to save it, but then a caution does come out for something. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what happened there, but so we're off to another restart where, again, we're trying to get good position without running each other over, and it's can be a pretty difficult task, especially with such an evenly matched field. I will say that in this third and final stage, we were able to get a little bit more green flag racing. One of the issues early on is we had a couple of guys who were having some issues with their internet, and they were having some lag problems, and it was causing some wrecks. And I hate it for those guys, but eventually they either lagged out or decided to back out of the race, knowing that their internet issues would continue to be a problem. And it made for better racing. Here you see you get a really good run on the 21 car. Just had to back off so I didn't run him over. and it cost me another position, and then of course I'm trying to stay away from people, and I get into the wall, it costs me 2 more positions. And so it doesn't take much. Make a little mistake and you get eaten alive. So we get another caution. So we go back to green here. And we're starting to come down to the end here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're almost within our fuel mileage here to just go ahead and run the rest of the race out. Here you see a pretty close battle with the 48 car coming off the corner. Not sure what happened. Another caution took place, and again, yet another restart. So again, we're running out of time here. I think everybody is about a lap short on fuel here, so you know, at this point we're kind of feeling like there's probably going to be another caution, but at the same time, you never know. So I took advantage of the 48 car moving up, so I kind of went 3 wide, had a really fast run, and was able to get around both of those cars, and that put me in a little better position. And then moving ahead just a little bit, it's at this point where I feel like maybe the strategy is to back off and save fuel. So I actually start lifting a little early, maybe getting back in the gas a little later, but it kind of all goes for nothing when the caution comes out. And really my best pit stop of the day, 13.9 second. I never get pit stops that good. And if you're wondering, no, there's nothing we can do to make pit stops faster or slower. You just get what you get. It's completely random. But another benefit for me was that the one car got ahead of me on pit road, but then he has to drop back because he was involved in the caution that came out. So really that puts me in a really good position. I'm starting third. I prefer to be on the bottom. Most people do. And so that allows me to get to second very quickly on the restart. And so now it's really about trying to find a way around this 12 car. And if I can get the lead, maybe I can hold that. It looks to be that maybe there's not going to be any other pit stops. So I get a run on the 12 car. I was able to get underneath him here and give myself really the best opportunity to maybe win this race, to get the lead. And I know that there might be cautions, but now I'm in the command seat almost, and we just got fresh tires. As you can see here, there's only 6 laps left, so we really don't think we're going to wear the tires out enough to have a real problem. Maybe you can stay out and it won't hurt you as much. But then I have a real battle here with the 3 car. He was very fast throughout the race, and the 21 car behind me as well. But again, you really can't get away from guys. Even if you don't hit your corner just right, if you're close to a guy, you're going to be in their draft, and you'll be able to draw right back up to them by the time you enter the next corner. So you can actually run an imperfect lap in the draft at this track and still run with the leader. So I took advantage of that, and I'm sure these guys were taking advantage of it. It doesn't mean that they're not fast in general, but you can really take advantage of getting in someone's draft and racing really well. Again, at this point, I feel like this is the race for the win. You gotta race hard. So I'm not gonna just draw back and get behind the 3 car. I'm gonna fight him on this outside, especially given that this is a track where you can run the outside lane. So to be honest, I'm really not giving an inch. I'm trying to run as hard as I can. Get a really good run off of turn 2, and then he and the 21 car get into each other, and that causes a caution. And so now I'm going to have to endure a restart. Actually, I think I endure a couple of restarts here. And so now we're coming up to a green-white checkered situation. So I have the lead. I've stayed out. A couple of guys did pit, so I'm a little concerned at this point. I want to make sure that I get a good run off of 2. It's likely that I'm probably not going to be the fastest car because I stayed out. We had some guys who pitted and took fresh tires. And so I get that good run that I want on the restart. And here I am coming off of turn 4. And the 3 car, I think he did pit. He was catching me, but I was able to get to the line first and get the victory. So really excited to win in the second points-paying race of the season, and it was a really fun race. Here's a quick peek at the point standings after the second race of the year. Excited that I was able to get the points lead. Hopefully you can hang on to that. But that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.